What's up, everyone? Welcome to Level 7. It's time for another episode of the Agents of Fandom podcast. You mouth breathers, we are finally here. It is Stranger Things time. We have waited long wait. Even got to watch and still had to wait a long time to podcast because you stupid Americans decided to have a holiday at the same time as Stranger Things getting released. Have Thanksgiving at the normal time a month ago, like us Canadians, but alas, we are here to chat about some Stranger Things. My name is TJ Zwarych, joined firstly by my co-host and friend Sean Mott of the Metalcore Nerds. How you doing, Sean?
Great, man. I'm feeling very delightful today. Do you get that reference?
There you go. Absolute Derek. Absolute Derek.
Suck a fat one, Sean. And joining us as well, we have Caroline. How are you doing, Caroline? Welcome back.
Thank you. Happy to be back. This is going to be fun. I've got lots of... I have some theories. I have some theories. I'm ready.
Heck yeah. Theory mode is one of my favorite things about Stranger Things, and so I'm looking forward to diving into it with you. And joining us as well, our second time on the show from thedirect.com and co-host of the Controller Club podcast, we have Lauren Rouse. How you doing, Lauren?
Hello, so glad to be back. It's exciting to talk about Stranger Things because it's been so long since the last season came out that I've actually launched a podcast for 3 years since it last came out.
There you go. That's one of the things one of your co-hosts at the Controller Club, Kleinfeld, hit one of his other podcasts, the Reckless Rebellion. I laugh every time they talk about it because they've been doing this Star Wars podcast for 4 or 5 years, whatever it is, and they've never covered a Star Wars movie. Because there hasn't been a Star Wars movie that has come out since they've started the podcast. And so it's always kind of funny when things like that happen where it's not like things, Star Wars has always been large gaps, but in general, TV, this is new, right? It's 2-3 years between seasons of some of our favorite shows, and it sucks, but at least when it is a spectacle like Stranger Things, and that doesn't feel like normal TV, it is event television. The wait sucked, but at least we're here. We'll say that. And I'm excited to chat about this with all of you. But we got a lot of fun stuff coming up on the channel. Earlier today, we recorded our Wake Up Dead Man and Knives Out mystery podcast that will be dropping Wednesday. Myself, Rachel Leishman, Rachel and Leah Marilla Thomas chatted about that one. So stay tuned. That's coming to feeds on Wednesday. On Friday, Sean and I are going to be back. Leah will be joining us for that as well. We're going to be talking Pluribus. Episodes 3, 4, and 5, maybe 6 actually, because I guess that'll be out by then as well. So if I can watch 6 by then, we will include 6 in that also. And then starting next week, we have Percy Jackson and the Olympians finally airing on Disney Plus. Very much looking forward to talking about that. We will have our first live show Friday evening after it airs. So 2 days later, December 12th, myself, Brandon Moore, Jam, and our first guest is our friend Arzu Amin joining us for that one. So stay tuned for Percy Jackson. We got a great lineup of guests throughout the weeks. And, of course, Avatar Fire and Ash still coming. Wonder Man in the new year. Lots and lots of great stuff. Speaking of all these great stuff that you can watch and you can talk about by following us on socials at Agents Fandom on TikTok and Twitter, Agents of Fandom everywhere else, I want to know what you're watching. Because, Sean, I haven't talked to you since our last Stranger Things show, our little preview about things we're watching. And Caroline, same thing. Lauren, I also want to give the added in. If you're playing something new, I want to know what you're playing. And so, Sean, I will throw it to you first. What you watching?
First off, I have to mention a movie that's on Netflix. And it's very rare to praise a Netflix movie this high, but it happens on occasion. But Train Dreams, starring Joel Edgerton. What a beautiful and profound movie. I know some people are going to think this movie's boring. It's just about this logger and his simple little life. But it is such a beautiful movie. If you have been in a band that's toured, if you've had a job that's taken you away from your nuclear family, or if you're just struggling finding purpose in life, it's such a beautiful, gorgeous, breathtaking movie that I implore anyone to watch and just sort of let the movie take you on its journey and let it help you rethink what life is. And that's all I'll say.
This sounds like Inside Llewyn Davis, but about trains. Have you ever seen Inside Llewyn Davis?
No, I haven't. But
with Oscar Isaac, he's like the most struggling down bad in like folk musician ever. It's a fictional character, but it's kind of inspired by Bob Dylan. It's directed by the Coen brothers. That's not what I've been watching. It's one that I have watched. Great movie, highly recommend. But it's like basically about him being a struggling artist. And from what you're describing, this sounds like just everything that happens to Oscar Isaac in this movie just sucks. He's kind of sucks. Everyone in this movie just like it just sucks. It's very depressing, but very good. One of my favorite movies actually ever made. Love it.
Joel Edgerton's character he's a great human in it, I think.
Yes.
He's just a dude. It is crazy because it kind of takes your mind and like really puts into perspective like how lucky we have it, which I know a lot of people think that, but just like in term of like access and excess of things, it's this dude in the 50s he's just working so they can feed his family and stuff. Like that's all he's trying to do, and a lot of bad stuff does happen to him, and that goes throughout it, and it kind of explores like how, I mean, I guess up until recently, a lot of men have like a really hard time, like, communicating with each other, especially about emotions and complex things. It's a great movie. It's directed by the same person who did Sing Sing, which is also another beautiful, amazing movie starring Coleman Domingo. If you haven't watched that, I would definitely recommend to watch that as well. Other than that, though, I saw Wicked for Good in theaters. Really enjoyed Wicked for Good. Nice little somber, story about government cover-ups and racism.
Fascism.
It's fun.
Really.
Yeah.
It's a really good point. But I really liked it. And then Caroline mentioned All Her Fault the last time we had the Stranger Things recap podcast, and it was already on my radar because Sarah Snook is in it from Succession, massive Succession fan here. So I was like, that already was enough to bring me in. But that show is crazy.
Isn't it? It's so good.
Crazy.
The plot twists are unbelievable.
Wild. The basic premise is Sarah Snook goes to pick up her kid from like a play date. She arrives at the house.
The
kid's not there. The lady at the house is like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea these kids. And then it all just goes from there. And it is crazy. So crazy. But it has Suge from the Bears in it also. Another guy is, I don't remember the actor's name, but he was in season 1, I think, of White Lotus. It was a pretty stacked cast too, of not like A-listers, but people who have been in really good things. And it's just a wild show. It's on Peacock. I know a lot of people don't have Peacock, but I would say that's a really good limited series. Wow. And that's mostly, I did start Hijack on Apple TV Plus, mostly because I didn't watch it when it came out. And I know season 2 is coming out early next year, and Idris Elba's in it. And that's all I really needed to know. It's an Apple TV Plus.
Is that the one where he's on the plane?
Yes. Yep. He's on a plane. The plane gets hijacked.
Okay.
They look.
But then I guess season 2 is him on a train.
Of course.
Train dream.
And I'm like, how does this guy keep that's the thing I'm like really curious about, is like, how does he keep getting in these situations where something gets hijacked? But we'll see. I haven't seen it.
In
so
the
I
name.
can't judge it yet. Yeah. It's like,
I have no idea why, but they don't look alike even a little bit. But for some reason, Sarah Snook and Abby Elliott, who plays Natalie Sugar in The Bear, my brain just like sees them as very similar people and kind of mixes them up. They don't look alike, but I kind of almost feel it's like a light version and a dark version of a similar.
They could like play siblings.
Yeah, like something like playing siblings of like Sarah Snook
married,
just like not in real life, but her Succession character, and then Natalie Shug from The Bear, just kind of like light and dark versions of each other ish. Like not really, but sort of. Caroline, how about you? What you been watching?
Stranger Things, obviously that was kind of my big one. It was Thanksgiving this week, so I was kind of, doing Thanksgiving things for a lot of it. So Stranger Things I barely squeezed in, but last week, right after we got off the stream for the recap, I saw Wicked for Good and I loved it. Ariana Grande, I love you so much. Cynthia Erivo, I love you so much. I love that whole cast. Unbelievable. Also shout out Ethan Slater. I don't know. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk spoilers. Like, I don't know how many people have seen it, not seen it yet, but what happens to him in this movie and what he does. He's not in it for very much. He's in it for no more than like 3 minutes. But what he does do, oh my God, it's so good. The one that I want to see though, like, because that was really it. I've had no time. Is Zootopia 2. I have heard nothing but amazing things about Zootopia 2. And it's like breaking box office records. Like it's absolutely massive in like the Asian market. Like China, like just blew every box office record it could in China. And I've heard that it's a really, really worthy sequel and probably the best Disney sequel Disney's ever made. So I need to check it out. And I will preemptively recommend it. I recommend the first Zootopia too. First Zootopia as well. Great movie. So I really need to see Zootopia 2, but Thanksgiving got in my way.
Zootopia 2 has the potential to be Disney's second $1 billion movie of the year. We'll see if it gets there. It's at $600 million right now. Looking
it's 100% going to get there if it's already at 600.
Yeah, looking very, very likely that we're going to see that cross that plateau in the next couple of weeks here. So
I know
Lilo and Stitch and Zootopia, the only two movies this year outside of Neza 2, which was only like 23 million in the US and then like almost 2 billion in China.
It went crazy in China. I still need to see that too.
Lilo and Stitch and Zootopia potentially both getting there. That's pretty cool.
But guys, support original work, support original animated work. This only means that we're going to get more sequels, which I'm a little scared of.
I mean, Disney sequels used to be straight to VHS, straight to DVD. None of the same voice cast coming back because they were too expensive. Massive budget downs. That's not really what the Disney animated sequels are anymore. Like, I wasn't a huge fan of Moana 2, but it wasn't bad.
No,
it wasn't bad by any means.
It's a Disney Plus show.
Frozen 2 is genuinely incredible. Frozen 2 might be better than the first one.
Better in the first. Hot take.
Better in the first. I agree. I haven't been watching much. I binged all of the morning show on Sean's recommendation. I got through all of it. Great television. I recently just rewatched Now You See Me 2, so I can go see Now You See Me, Now You Don't soon. And I do want to talk. I talked about it in depth on the podcast we recorded earlier today, dropping tomorrow for Wake Up Dead Man. But I've finished playing one of my favorite games this year, and it's called Dispatch. And it actually has very little gameplay, but it's just straight role playing a story. And the animation is incredible, and it very much just feels like, what if you got to play in the Invincible universe? What if you inserted yourself into the Invincible universe and you got to make choices, and your choices directly impact the story? And the story is really strong. The animation is really strong. It's not for kids. Like, it's very bloody. It's very violent. There's a little bit of nudity in it, a ton of like cursing and sexual innuendo, but it's a lot of fun. And the gameplay in it, it's basically like, the reason it's called Dispatch is you're a former hero who got beat up and, for reasons I won't say, has to take a little break. And you are trying to revitalize a team of reformed criminals who are now trying to become heroes, and you send them to different places in the city that need aid. And so your success rate depends on your ability to go, okay, what are this person's skills? What are their weaknesses? And make sure you're sending people to the right location. And it's a lot of fun. I kind of want to just restart it again and make all the opposite choices of what I did the first time and just see how it ends up, because I was listening to the Ringerverse, and Jomi, one of the co-hosts, friend of the pod, he was actually on the show before for an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show. And he was talking about how he got like the worst possible ending. Mine was all completely happy. So I'm very interested to see how negative it can go. But Lauren, how familiar are you with this game and what you've been watching and playing?
Yeah, it's funny. I feel like everything that you guys said, I've also been involved in somehow. But yeah, so it's great that we've touched on all of them. But I have been playing Dispatch as well, and it's completely blown me away. I'm doing exactly what you just said. I'm replaying it and making all the opposite decisions now. And it's weird because sometimes you'll do these things. I'm like, that's not what I would do, but you're forcing yourself to do it to see the other story path. But it's a phenomenal game. Like, I really hope that this is kind of a revitalization of episodic narrative games that Telltale was really famous for. And I hope that we're seeing that come back now, because this Dispatch is just so good. Also saw Train Dreams, thought it was super beautiful and profound. Probably one of my top 3 movies of the year, to be honest. It completely surprised me. And I've also seen Zootopia 2. I saw it last night, and it was good. I don't think it was like the best Disney animated film that I've ever seen, but it was a really solid sequel and built on the promise of the first. And I think one of the best things about those movies is like the in-jokes, like just the depth of the world and how they've translated like animal mannerisms into this like anthropomorphic world. It's really, really clever. So that was my big takeaway from that. But just to add something new to the conversation, the only other thing I've been watching is Pluribus, which is just like fantastic. I didn't really, I mean, I should have had higher expectations knowing that this was Vince Gilligan, but I was really like captivated by it from the get-go, and particularly this most recent episode. Like episode 5 ends on this huge cliffhanger that I'm just like cursing that it came out early and we had to wait 10 days for the next one. I just have to know what happens. So
yeah, we're definitely gonna have to include episode 6 on our Friday show, because after that cliffhanger, there's no way I can just be like, wait, I could find out the answer and I'm not doing it right now. I need to know what the hell she just uncovered, because this whole milk storyline I've loved. Because let me tell you something. I obviously, I mean, slight spoilers for Pluribus.
Wait, hold on. I want to watch it.
Yeah, just a tiny spoiler.
You won't even know. You won't even know what's going on.
I'm going to be very, very vague, and you're not going to have anything that's going on. I had a theory that was quite quickly debunked of basically just when I'm seeing the heaviness of milk in one of the episodes, milk being very heavily featured, I had a certain thought of like, what if some people who didn't get affected by the thing in a certain way, it's because they were lactose intolerant, and maybe the lactose intolerant people died, and so that one, and obviously that just had nothing to do with the story going on. So Caroline, that was why I didn't feel bad, because I'm not spoiling anything, because I was so off base. I was so off base that it had nothing to do with anything going on. But shout out to the milk.
I know what the milk is. I know what the milk is.
Okay.
Yeah, Sean is a bastard.
I've seen 7 episodes.
Yeah, not all, but the first 7. You can find Sean's review of Pluribus up on agentsfandom.com. And you can also find our Zootopia 2 interviews. Richard Nebbins got to chat with the 3 co-heads of animation for Zootopia 2, and those are up wherever Caroline's looking sad because I had talked to her about doing some of them as well. We were going to split them up, but she couldn't. So sad. You can find Richard's interviews up on agentsfandom.com. And then I got to talk to legendary Canadian broadcaster and Peter Moosebridge of Zootopia, Peter Mansbridge, about the film, his career, his advice for aspiring journalists, things like that. So make sure you check it out wherever you get your podcasts and up on YouTube. You can also find us on socials at Agents Fandom on TikTok and Twitter, Agents of Fandom everywhere else. Before we move on to Stranger Things, I just want to remind myself, get it out loud, manifest it to the world before I forget. Lauren, if you want to join us for Pluribus on Friday, you are more than welcome to. And let's dive into Stranger Things. I will say, I screwed up. I meant to write a retro recap, but I was, let's say, doing a deep dive into the Stranger Things stage show. And so I didn't get a chance to actually write my retro recap for Stranger Things Volume 1, which I probably, in hindsight, should have been doing it in the Rock and Robin tone for the whole thing, because Rock and Robin did an incredible job of recapping what has been going on since we last saw the show in season 4. But I want to talk spoiler free first. Sean, we've obviously been highly anticipating this. We did our preview show. We did a full binge over the last month. Yeah. Did the first couple episodes of Stranger Things meet your expectations? What'd you think?
I think so. I think the biggest thing this season started off with compared to other ones is it felt big right from the jump. Like the stakes felt so high already. And that's because of the way season 4 ended, even though they kind of moved some stuff back from the ramifications of season 4 a little. But everything feels so, and it was so cool to see everyone back together. You know, we haven't seen that since season 2, or season 3. So, and even that, like, people were kind of split up. So seeing everyone like together and everyone being like down for the cause and everyone taking their job seriously was so cool. And it's really awesome. Like TJ and I were texting back and forth of like the growth of some of these characters. and like the actors' growth and what they're bringing to the table this season, I think is really, really cool. And episode 4 was just, whew, that was a movie, you know. And I'm like, if that's the mid-season finale, I was like, I can't even imagine what the actual season series finale is going to be like. I feel like it's just gonna blow our minds, you know. But I'm really, really loving it. I can't wait until Christmas to watch the next few, and then anticipate New Year's Eve for it all to end. I'm kind of sad though. Every time I finish, like when I finished the rewatch, I was sad because there was, you know, I'm like, man, I don't have anything more to watch from this world. Bummer. And then when I finished 4, it was the same because we watched episodes 1 and 2 one night, and then the next night we watched 3 and 4. And I stayed pretty clear off the internet to avoid spoilers because I know people are ruthless and evil. So I was very careful about what I was doing on the internet. Except my friend did spoil one thing for me. I'll bring it up when we get to that part. What a D-bag move on his part. He admitted that it was a D-bag move though, so I guess it's fine. But yeah, I'm so stoked. So Stranger Things back. But again,
so mad you can be at a friend when you call them out for something and they're like, "Oh shit, that was my bad. I'm sorry." And it's like, I wanted to be mad at you for a little longer. Come on, like let me take out my anger a little bit.
Yeah, and it was something that happened in episode 4. And like before I watched any of it.
Was it the thing that happened in episode 4?
It was one of the things.
Not the thing,
there's multiple
but it was the second
things.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah. It's one of the things in episode 4 for sure.
Okay.
I was just sad when I finished episode 4. I was like, man, I want more. I want it now. And I'm also doubling down. They definitely should release this weekly.
Yes, 100%.
People are talking about it, obviously. Like, again, it's Stranger Things effect. They're the anomaly in Netflix. People are going to talk about this no matter what. And everyone is talking about it. My Facebook is all just Stranger Things. But like, imagine if we've only seen one episode. And
That
episode
would
2 comes out this week.
It'd be so fun. And like this, I admit, like, it's a hard, that would have been an even tougher adjustment for me just to go straight after binging. Like, just feeling like I have all of this at my fingertips whenever I want it. To go to just one episode a week would have been really tough, but I'm still finding it tough with 4 of like, I don't like the chunks. I don't
like them either.
I want one episode a week or I want it all. I just really don't like don't like the chunks. But Lauren, spoiler-free reaction to Stranger Things season 5, volume 1. What have you thought so far?
I've been really enjoying it. I like Stranger Things is one of my probably top 5 shows of all time. And I have to say I was a little bit, I don't know what it was, like fatigued after season 4 because I think they just went so big in season 4. The episodes were so long. Everything was really drawn out. So I was a little bit like, I'd kind of had my fill. And then I guess we waited 3 years. So I was definitely ready by the time it came back. But at the same time, I was like, I'm kind of glad that this season they have, even though it's really big in terms of budget and scale and scope of story, that they have kind of reined back the runtime a little bit. And it feels quite airtight, each of the episodes. Like everything is connecting. Each thing's leading into the next. Every episode is like, I have to watch the next one. So I'm kind of with you guys. I think it would definitely have more of an impact if it was one episode at a time. But at the same time, it feels like I'm having a full meal when I'm sitting down with these 4 episodes and like I'm ready for the next course now. It just felt like a kind of like a complete story. I know it was like a big cliffhanger at the end of volume 1, but it was also like, okay, I feel like I have enough to process and now I'll be ready when the next one comes.
That's a very good point of like, there is enough meat and potatoes in those 4 episodes that it's like, well, we got a lot to talk about. And by the time we're running out of things to talk about, it's going to be a week away from the next set of episodes. So very good point on that front. Has anybody purchased tickets to see the finale in a theater?
I don't think I'm going to go in theater, no.
So
I mean, wait, Sean, go.
It's listed on the Stranger Things website, My Theater. That's down the road.
If your city is there, but it says no showtimes currently available, they're not adding more to them.
So the weird thing is it's listed, but then you go to the theater website and it's not there. I called the theater and was like, hey, are you guys getting this or not? And they're like, we can neither confirm nor deny because we don't want to like piss people off. I felt like I was like talking to some weird, I'm just asking if this movie's gonna play there. They're like, we're waiting for corporate to see, blah blah blah, and then she was like, I think we're going to get it, but I can't say that we are for sure, just in case we don't. She's like, we should know later today, so I'm hoping it does end up there, because we've been getting a lot of the Netflix stuff, which usually we don't. I live in a small city in upstate New York, in between two of the bigger cities in upstate New York that usually get those things. But we got Frankenstein. We have Wake Up Dead Man right now, which I haven't seen because I was gone for the holidays and stuff, which I'm hoping to see in a theater because I would like that. But we've been getting that stuff recently, which is cool, and it hasn't been a thing. But Netflix is kind of spreading their wings a little with this theatrical stuff, which is nice. So I'm hoping we get it, because I would love to spend my New Year's Eve watching Stranger Things in the theater. That would be awesome. I have my wife is into Stranger Things and watched all of them with us. Like her best friend, and watched it in the Thanksgiving break with us because she came with us when we went to our uncle's house in Mass. And now our best friend and her boyfriend are rewatching from the start, because he only watched season 1 like when it came out. So now they're rewatching all of it to get caught up, so we can watch on Christmas Day and then watch on New Year's Eve. So I would love to watch it in a theater. I'm hoping.
I might be in Calgary, and they have some showings there, and so I'm tempted to figure it out. But I definitely think they're going to be gone by the time I figure out if I'll be in Calgary for New Year's Eve or not. And that's like, it's 6 hours away, and that's the closest showing to me for it. But it is weird stuff, like regarding to like your theater person not being able to say it. I have like read some interesting things of there's not going to be a box office for this. Like they're doing, you get ticket vouchers and you get concession vouchers.
Yeah, you get like a food voucher, but it goes.
Yeah, you're not allowed to spend money at the concession. It's like a purchase screening that you have a voucher for. And so it seems like it's something very specifically of like Netflix is paying these theaters X amount, and if they can get the deal done, all the money that is spent will then be going back to Netflix, kind of thing is my understanding. But I could be totally wrong on that front. I just thought it was like weird that they're not having a concession and they're not having a box office. It's all like voucher based, so you can get popcorn, but they will give you a voucher to get popcorn. It's not like you're buying it. And so not exactly sure why, but there's some funky stuff going on there. Caroline, spoiler-free thoughts, Stranger Things season 5, volume 1.
All right, hold on. I'm texting my best friend, actually, because this is my best friend who I was worked at Disney with, and she loves Stranger Things so much, as do I. And she's like seen the Broadway show. That was her. If you just heard the little ding on my computer. She like went to the set. She like, we've both dressed up for 11, as 11 for Halloween multiple years. We both love it. And she's in Florida, and I've been trying to find a time to visit her. And I sort of feel like New Year's might be the time. I'm also hearing myself echo, so I'm so sorry.
I think that's me.
And so Stranger Things, though, really, really liked it. I was very much enjoying myself. I love a lot of people online like love to kind of make fun of the way that they like do the dialogue in the moments where they're like figuring things out, where they're like, if we get in Vecna's mind, and then Will's like, oh, like, but he's already here. I don't know. I find that really funny when they make fun of like them using little action figures, but also those are my favorite moments of the show, like where they're just figuring things out. And that's what a lot of this season was, of just, we're figuring things out. We're learning new things. We're seeing the status of where we are right now. And I love that setup. I love that buildup. And I think the payoff was really good. As someone who has had so much fun with weekly releases so far, I do wish it was released weekly. I mean, this is my one government mandated, government being me, Samurai Champloo mention of the podcast. Happens every time. I will find a way somehow to bring it up. But this summer was so fun because it was like me and all my friends, both online and in real life, like we all got to talk about it and like discuss it and theorize about like where it was going to go and what sort of departures they were going to take from the books. And it genuinely brought a lot of people together. Like there were watch parties at different bars around. I'm in Chicago, so there'd be different watch parties where everyone would go, like, you'd get like a voucher for a Caesar salad and a rosé, and then you could watch the episode with everybody, and like people would be reacting live. And I thought that was so fun. And I sort of feel like Stranger Things has the staying power, and it has like the reach to pull something off like that. And I think with the show that's so theory based, I think that's 100% what they should have done. But it's Netflix. But Lauren, your point about like having the little chunks of it, like first course, second course, that was also I do understand. I did enjoy that. But yeah, I know I really liked it. I can't wait to see where they go with it.
Netflix announced just 30 minutes ago with 59.6 million views. Stranger Things is the #1 show in the world and the biggest premiere week for an English language show in the history of Netflix.
Squid Game's still on top, man. Maybe volume 2. I think volume 2 is gonna over.
Netflix did freeze, wasn't it, like not working for people when it first premiered?
Right at launch it froze and it stopped working for people. I saw a funny tweet. Apologies, I don't remember who it's from, but I saw a funny tweet that was essentially saying, like, in reference to what you were saying, Caroline, like the Duffer Brothers really dumbed down the script at the beginning of this season so that everybody watching who didn't know what was going on could figure out what was going on. Mike is spelling it out for us, word by word. This is what's happening. And you idiots on the internet still can't figure it out.
And so is Robin. Robin is spelling it out for you word for word, like in the most kind of like, I love Robin. But sometimes she'll get into these like over-explaining modes, and I sort of feel like I used to really like I love that she does that. It's a very big part of her personality, but I almost feel like the writing for some of these moments was dumbed down a little bit. And I'm like, guys, Robin is like, and Mike, and all of them are like spelling this out for you, and we're still having problems. Okay.
Caroline and I are deep on Stranger Things Twitter, is what
we
we're
really are.
And we're deep on Stranger Things Twitter, and there's some wildly bad takes and some wildly some wild lack of media literacy going on. Yeah. And so that's essentially what we are referencing. But getting into spoiler territory, full spoiler warning for Stranger Things Season 5, Volume 1. I want to talk about our MVPs so far this season. I will throw mine out first, but just in case somebody has the same one, I won't give my takes until somebody else gets there. But it is Rockin' Robin. It is Rockin' Robin for one. Not only is she so incredible this series on her own, but it's the stuff with Will. It's the stuff with Will and how this team up, this pairing that they've put together this season, is
so good.
Incredible for the individual characters, and it's working great for the story.
Yeah.
Rockin' Robin, my clear MVP so far. Lauren, how about you?
I think the same. Like, I just think her character, when you look at them all based from the jump from last season, she's evolved the most and is now having like a way bigger part than she did in previous seasons. And I think that's because, like, this character is just carrying the most this season. I think, like, if there was going to be another one like that, it's probably Holly Wheeler. Like, she has kind of been in the background for so long, and now she's just like this huge part of the story. And there are those jokes out there being like, who even is she? It kind of feels like she's kind of been shoehorned into the season a little bit, but I think she's really playing a big part for a reason. And the actress, I know they recast her, but she's great. And I'm enjoying seeing more about this other Wheeler sibling that we never really got to look into, apart from like Mike and Nancy.
It's so great so I've been listening to the House of R podcast, Mallory Rubin and Joanna Robinson, and they've done season by season deep dives. And one of their segments, I'd listen to I'd watch a season, and then I'd listen to their podcast, and then I'd watch the next season, and then I'd listen to their podcast. They have a segment for each season, the Holly Trauma Tracker, and they basically just go through all the episodes throughout the 4 seasons of Stranger Things where Holly has seen some terrifying shit.
She really has.
And it's just not acknowledged. It's like, she's there.
The trees
and
are
this
big.
Would be terrifying, but we're not focused on her right now. And it's so funny. There's so Holly, much that she's been through.
She's been like gaslit since day one. Like, there's this moment in season 1 where she's like walking through, she sees the lights, and I think like the Demogorgon almost pokes out of the wall, and she sees it. And then And then Joyce is like, "Did you see something? Did you?" And she's like, "Yeah." And then Karen's like, "What are you talking about?" And then in season 3, she's like, "The trees! Look, the trees are moving!" And it's like the mind flayer.
Mind flare, yeah.
And she's like,
Mhm.
"What? No, look up there! Look at the fireworks!"
Look, Karen Wheeler, she's got to see it to believe it. She's been brushing things off. But when the
believes it now.
Demogorgon comes to her house,
I know.
Holly Wheeler's fucking ready.
She was prepared. I love that for her. But my MVP, wait, I have a hot take. My MVP is Mike Wheeler. I think Mike got so much more to do this season. He really feels like he's in his D&D class is Paladin. He feels like a Paladin this year. He feels like people kind of look to him. I like that with he almost had like a Steve-esque. He was like protecting all the kids. He was like, everyone look at me. He was coming up with the plans. He was very encouraging with Will, I don't know. I feel like he's taken a lot more of like a driver's seat this year. And as someone who really liked Mike back in like seasons 1 and 2, and I felt like he was a lot more of a kind of a main character in this, I felt like they really put him in the driver's seat here. I love what they've done with him, and I know that's a bit of a hot take. I think there are a lot of other MVPs. Maybe another one that I want to talk about though. I don't know. Are we gonna get to her yet? But
we'll get to. Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about, and we will get there. But I will say, like, I agree with you on the Mike stuff. Like, I messaged Sean about this, I think, and I was saying he kind of seems like the one who has finished his character arc. Like, he's where he needs to be. He has self-actualized for this point in his life. And we've always seen Mike, like, he's been the leader of the group, as Will tells him in season 4. But Mike has, despite his leadership qualities, has never been able to look past what he needs and what Eleven needs. Correct. Those are the only two things he has cared about. He's been tunnel vision to that.
For sure.
And we see how that's changed this year. That conversation with Holly in the hospital, that's top 5 Stranger
Things.
Hallway,
because he has the combo with Nancy in the hospital, but in the school hallway, he gives Holly the little figurine.
School, right? Yes.
Holly the heroic.
Like, that was so incredible. When in episode 4, when he's leading all those kids away, and it's, hey, eyes on me, look at me, nothing else matters. I was like, shit, Mike, like, this is incredible stuff.
Yeah, good for you, man.
He's the heart.
He is. He really is. Sean, who's your MVP for volume 1?
Let's say Robin's the easy one. I was also going to say Mike too. So Caroline, not a hot take at all. But also secret MVP, even though she only played a small part, Karen Wheeler.
Yes. There's a great tweet that Cara Bono, who plays Karen, she tweeted, like, never underestimate a mom trying to protect her kids in some Chardonnay. Like, I'll find it. Hold on. I forget the exact tweet, but the
wine was so good.
The most useless guy in the history of useless guys. Karen, until that Demogorgon shows up, Karen is sitting there thinking, like, should have fucked Billy.
Yeah, I have another MVP. I have another MVP. Delightful Derek. Erica. And Erica Sinclair.
Delightful Derek going from the shittiest little fucker I have ever seen, telling everybody to suck his fat one or suck a fat one. That was my favorite, like, comedy when he yells down, suck a fat one, and Robin is like, what?
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, Jesus Christ, what? It's the best reaction.
Oh, it's so incredible. And then as soon as they're counting on him, as soon as he's got to be Delightful Derek, man locks in.
He starts a cult
He locks in for the mission.
He does. That was great stuff. Because, yeah, the first time you see him in the trailer, you're like, who's this new kid? And then you see him at first, and you're like, he's a little shit. Fuck this kid. I don't like him at all. And then by the time episode 4 happens, you're like, I love this kid.
I would die for him. I would die for this kid.
I'm glad they did that, though, because I feel like Stranger Things loves to, like, just add people to the cast. And I feel like I was a little nervous with them kind of expanding Holly's role and then adding this other, like, kid. Everyone's like, who is this? They made him so likable. And I think that was very, very, like, that was really important. But the tweet, I found the Cara Buono tweet. She said, "Never underestimate a mom with a motive and a bottle of Chardonnay."
Absolutely
Just
love it. The whole Weaver
bars.
family just crushing it this
They
season.
really are.
There's also
Holly's
that
got a-
line. I think 11 says it, but she's like, you know, how did this happen? She's like, Karen with her wine, and it just made me laugh so hard.
Karen with her wine.
I love that Karen with
So
her
matter of
wine
fact.
bottle did better than like numerous people with guns from like last season in Russia throughout this one.
Yeah.
All we needed was Karen with her
The
wine
walking
bottle.
down
Yeah.
wheelers. Although
Ted tried to. Ted tried.
to go
Ted-
off what you were saying, Lauren, about
Rage
like
resist.
Elle being like with her wine, I kind of love that even in like in Elle's dialogue, there's still a bit like, even though she's been kind of in like able to speak, you know, like it's been a while since, it's been a few years since season 1, she still has little bits and pieces where she'll talk like, you know, I don't know how to describe it. Like, you know, she was in the lab, like she didn't really
Yeah, like her literacy.
you have like very absolute, like, friends don't lie. You promised. You lie like Papa. Like, she has these sort of like little statements that she really carries with her, these sort of absolutes, because that's like, this was the first time that she had really been like, you know, in typical normal civilization in a Hawkins lab. And I love that they've kept a little, like, even though she can like definitely speak for herself a lot more now, they've kind of kept little bits of that in Eleven's dialogue, like restart, or like she'll always have like a little one-line dialogue, like a little bit. And I think it's very sweet that they kept it. And Millie still delivers it like she did when she was younger.
It's funny
Cute.
because the first scene of her, she is talking so normal, like
Yes.
out of character normal, to the point where at first I let it go because I was like, oh yeah, she's 17 now. She's been with these kids for years. Maybe it's all just like she's grown out of it. You know, she's learned past it. And then once she gets in Upside Down and with Hopper, it comes back. And I'm like, that bothered me because it switched. But after
in
that,
the scene
it
with
stays
Mike,
consistent.
she does like talk in full sentences. Oh, but a little bit. She's got it a little bit in the talk with Mike.
Yeah. But once you get the Upside Down, it goes back and then it stays. And then so I kind of forgave it. But that was one thing where I was like, I see you. I noticed.
This is
As a
nowhere
nitpick.
nowhere near anything that's like to take me out of the show. Again, it's kind of a nitpick, but probably my biggest like glaring qualm when I'm watching this show in a binge from like watching seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, and now 5, one right after the another, is it does seem quite evident to me that Noah Schnapp and Millie Bobby Brown haven't improved at acting on the same levels as all the rest of the actors on the show. Like, it's not that they're awful by any means. They're not doing terrible jobs, but I just think genuinely, like, Sadie Sink, Caleb McLaughlin, I never remember the actor who plays Dustin, but like the whole crew, they all started great and they've significantly got better. Like
especially Sadie
Sink and Caleb McLaughlin are like between seasons getting training and doing stage shows, where I kind of just feel like
Millie and Noah are doing whatever. Like Noah like goes to college. I think he's like in college. Like he's just
passing out douchey stickers and she's doing shitty Netflix movies.
Yeah.
But I like, they're not bad. They don't take me out of it. Noah Schnapp specifically, in scenes where he does not have to talk, he's fucking incredible. Like,
yeah,
truly,
that's
he's
so
great.
true. Like his expression work is unreal.
When he has the monologue, it's like, and I guess part of it could be like, you know, the suspended development of Will Byers, still very much like emotionally childlike because his growth has been stunted from all this trauma. Yes,
there's something
but still there's just like not quite delivered the way.
Yeah, when he's like doing all the planning and he like has to like figures things out, it's like weird.
I think it's because of what you said, the stunted growth, because I think there's like a subtlety to his performance that I feel like people overlook because he is asserting himself, but you can still feel that hesitation and that questioning of himself too at the same time. And I think that's genius, and that's hard to pull off. Yeah. And it's hard because I agree with the Millie Bobby Brown stuff. I think she's a fine actor, and I think she's the best in Stranger Things than she is in anything else. But if you think about like dialect and what she has to do, and especially she doesn't have an American accent, you know, so the work she has to go into to become 11 is a lot. I think.
Yeah.
I feel
I'm
like
not saying.
Will.
I mean, Sadie Sink is a league above like all of them. I think, but you know.
Yeah.
I feel like Will is good in scenes where it's like character moments, but anytime he has to explain anything about the Upside Down or Vecna or say something like, I can feel him, it seems really corny. And I think
Yeah.
that's where it like grates against me. But when he's like being himself in those quiet moments, like I think he's quite good.
He's
Also
like
with Robin.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
my
his
God.
stuff with Robin is just so good. And pulling like from back to the morning show a little bit, Sean, one thing I realized when watching Jennifer Aniston in the morning show is how incredible her micro expressions are with her eyes. Of like she'll be putting on a smile but aggressively holding back tears, and it just looks so real and incredible. Noah Schnapp's got that ability to like, I am holding back everything and I'm freaking out, but like he's so good at that. And then the dialogue, I'm always just like, all right, maybe let's give somebody else these lines. Let's get Mike pops in and goes, so Will just told me in the back room that this is what's happening, and he does the explanation. But let's kind of keep talking 11 since we were on her. I'm going to jump back and forth in the rundown I made a little bit. But what do we think about this season's 11, where we kind of get superhero arc 11 engaged? I want to talk about her power scaling. Like, what characters could we put 11 in a fighting game and have her match up against? I mean, I don't know who to put her. Like, I don't know, but you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's a game here that we could play with the power scaling that could be fun. I like seeing superhero 11 and not low confidence, afraid of everything 11.
Ooh.
John, what do you think about her role in this season so far? It's hard because I like her role, but I watched the Real Rejects, their reactions to the episode, to kind of have like a speed run of the episodes instead of rewatching them fully, because it's obviously edited because of YouTube. And they did say a good point that she is mostly just doing 11 things. Like, her arc this season isn't really anything yet. And I was like, that is a fair point, but I don't mind it. Like, I like that. I like the role she's been playing, and it was cool seeing her. I like how it's kind of like season 4, where it's like that we have groups now, you know what I mean? But like, I liked the way the groups were formed, and I think it's perfect that Hopper and 11 are paired. And I know the whole protective dad thing feels maybe repetitive, but I think it's evolved a little, because like that scene with Hopper and Joyce, like I feel like that's like the perfect scene to be like, no, I know she's going to be the one that is going to save the day, but I need her for that day, so I'm not going to risk her doing something stupid and something that's meaningless. Like, he is being rational, even though he was kind of willing to throw it all away for her. That's a whole nother thing. Like, damn, Hopper, bro, chill.
The suicide vest, the bomb vest, like shit. I thought I legit was thinking thinking in my head, like, they didn't believe me. Sean said I was crazy. Hop's about to die. But no, he just came right back. Vest still intact.
Yeah, I have my picks of who I think might die based on this first part, and I think more so that Hopper is not going to die after that scene. But I like, and it like you said, it is great to see her confident, and it's not her just going like this. We got some range, and we got her doing some cool shit, and I'm excited to see, like, dude, that mine scene was dope, and the way they edited it together with what Hopper was doing at the same time was sick. And it's so cool that, and this was I don't know if we brought this up in the recap, but it was a good detail at the end of season 4 is I know he brings up the tub, like, oh, go find Henry in the tub, but she doesn't need the tub anymore, and she doesn't even need noise. I know she's still blindfolding and she still needs her eyes closed, but she doesn't need like the static noise anymore. She's like leveled up even her mind stuff, which is really cool. But that scene was so awesome, and I'm just like very curious to see how her role is going to end up. I know the thing that happens in episode 4 is probably gonna be a big part of that for sure, but I don't really know where they're going with her, and that's not a bad thing. Like, a lot of other stuff was happening in these first 4 episodes, but so far I like it. It hasn't been my favorite thing, but that's not a bad thing either.
There is a lot of it that kind of seemed like, okay, we got to do some 11 stuff to make sure people don't forget that she's here. we're gonna need her for later. Almost what Hop straight up said, like, we're gonna need 11 for later, so I'm not gonna let her do anything right now. That felt a little bit what it was in the story too, of like she's gonna be important at the end of this, but we're gonna keep her here, do some training montages to show you why she's so strong now, and don't let you forget about her. What do you think, Lauren?
Yeah, it does. It kind of feels like, 11's had so much personal history explored in all the other seasons that I think they maybe hit a ceiling at this point where it's like kind of the only thing we can dig deeper into with her right now is her powers. And also for so long, her powers have been kind of just like a mystery. Like she uses them, her nose bleeds. How powerful is she really? So it's kind of cool to be like, she's actually been training, like stretching it like a muscle. And there's limits. They talk about her battery and like having to recharge, and there's a weakness now with the sonic noise that like she kind of can't, is like weakened by that. So it was good to see some of those like limitations put on, because for so long it's just kind of been like, okay, like Mike's told her that he loves her and now she can defeat Vecna, and you kind of like there's some like connective tissue that doesn't really make sense. So I think that's kind of what they're trying to build with her storyline right now, and because there's not really a whole lot of like personal character stuff they can do at this point. But I do think that will come a little bit later. Like she's obviously still very important to the story.
There's a lot of like, I think, parallels with Mike's story in the sense of we have seen 4 seasons of them having relationship troubles. Her figuring out how to be a person, him figuring out how to treat her like a person, and how to navigate their love for each other. And you kind of get it unspoken when they see each other at the end and they have their big hug of like, oh shit, it's been a while. There you are. You get the sense of like, they figured their shit out. They got this on lock right now. They're just in a good place where they both know what they're supposed to be doing. And so it's time to put others' needs ahead of their own. And I feel like we haven't seen that from either of them through the first 4 seasons. What do you think, Caroline?
Yes, on the Malevolent stuff, I liked their little brief combo about them, like, what's gonna happen to the party after this is all over if they make it. But I think, Sean, it's funny that you brought up that you liked seeing Elle and Hopper again. I sort of feel like I want to see Elle paired up with characters that we don't usually see her paired up with. I think we've seen a lot of Elle and Mike. We've seen a lot of Elle and Hopper. We've gotten a little Elle and Max. I wish there was more of them before what happened, like before the end of season 4. I think their dynamic is so good, and Sadie and Millie, like, especially on the set, I think of seasons 2 and 3, they're like besties, and I wish they gave us more than just like the mall, like season 3, really, because they're like, I love their friendship so much. But I would want to see Elle, I think, like paired up with like a Lucas or Dustin, maybe like a Steve type situation. I feel like there are a lot of characters that Elle hasn't really gotten to hang out with a lot, like, maybe even Elle and Robin, or like Elle, like that kind of, maybe that group. I loved how Elle and Nancy were together. I said on the last podcast, I was like, Elle and Nancy are my 2 faves, and and Nancy and Elle were together when they drove back to the Wheelers, and I was like, yes, more of this, please. And then Elle went straight into the Upside Down right after, and I was like, come on, dang it, this sucks. And I understand that. I think she's like, they're looking for her, so she can't really be out in the open too much. Like, they have to be very particular about where she's put. But I also like would love to see her explore some dynamics with some characters that we haven't really gotten to see her hang out with yet. I think that's really important because, I feel like for a lot of the characters, Elle almost seems like, we all heard about Elle and we've seen Elle have powers, but we don't, like, some of these characters don't know Elle. Like, Steve knows Elle, Robin knows who they are, we all know who she is, but they don't like know her. And I wish there was more exploration of that. I think that would be really interesting.
I saw somebody bring this up and I thought it was really hilarious, but Joyce Byers and Steve Harrington have just never acknowledged each other before in 5 seasons of this show.
Yeah.
And there's even a moment where Joyce is calling on the like radio and they're all together and she's like, Nancy, Robin, Jonathan, where are you guys? And Steve's with them too. And it's just like, those two have never actually like had a conversation in this show. It's always so funny when something like that happens. But there's 2 reveals that I want to talk about in this one. And I'm going to try and, if there's things that each of you want to talk about, dive into them at any point. But I'm just going to try and keep the topics rolling along so we're not here for like a full 2 hours. But I want to talk specifically about the two reveals. One, Mr. Whatsit, and two, Max. Finally back in our lives. First off, when did you clock that Mr. Whatsit was one Henry Vecna? I had the slightest moment where I was like, saving people from monsters. These lost little kids. They're like sheep. Is Eddie back saving his little sheep
Not Eddie.
from the darkness? No, of course
Yeah,
not.
Eddie's
He's
not
dead.
coming
They're
back.
probably not
Please
saving him
don't
from the
bring back
monsters.
Eddie.
They probably are the monsters. It's fucking Vecna. Sean, when'd you clock it?
So the first scene when Holly looks and sees his reflection, which is such a sick shot, where it's like the water from the sprinkler coming up on the window. I was like, oh, she's seeing Vecna, because it's like that's the whole thing from season 4, like him invading their minds. So at that point, I thought it was Vecna, but then they gaslit me. And when you fully didn't understand Will's visions and stuff, and he started seeing stuff, and they brought up A Wrinkle in Time, and I think especially with the Max stuff started coming into play too, I thought there was going to, and the end of season 4 had a lot of Eternal Sunshine stuff in it. So I thought it was going to be some weird thing where it's like a Will from the future. And it was like a time circle thing where he realizes that it was him. It's also kind of like an Iron Lad King situation where he's not really traveling in the future. His future self is traveling, and then it all ends up being a loop, and it all needs to happen. Also kind of like Prisoner of Azkaban, it all kind of happens as it should, but it's, them reliving certain things. I thought that was happening. And so I was like, oh, okay, of course it was.
Just to get into that portion while we're talking about it, there are so many time travel theories flying around that's how this show is going to end, with some kind of loop, like some type of like you said, Prisoner of Azkaban-esque of whose Patronus was it? It was Harry's. It was Harry's all along. Just like
Right.
Who saved Will? It was future Will who protected young Will in the Upside Down, like something like that. They're just from the clocks, the wrinkle in time of it all.
The constant references to the number 12.
The constant,
That's what I had written down.
Upside Down being frozen in time, the wormhole, and what's the name of the wormholes that they're talking about in science class? Einstein-Rosen bridge, the exact same thing that Tony is talking about in Endgame right before he time travels. Like, there are so many nods to it, but Sean, we're kind of both on we don't think they're going to go that route.
No, I don't think they're going to.
It's too late in the series with only 5 episodes left. I am one of the biggest time travel nerds you will meet in your life. I love time travel stuff. It's almost like you get one foot in the door with me. You're like, oh yeah, this stuff's about time travel or multiverses. I'm like, I'm in. You say less. It's an easiest way to get me into something. But where we are now, I feel like it would just negate everything that happened. The Duffers have already, so many people keep bringing up the whole, it's going to end with them playing D&D and it was all a D&D campaign or something. Oh, the Duffers have already said no. And that would suck. It would mean everything was pointless. And it's the same thing with time travel. If they go back and they undo something so the Upside Down doesn't create it, that just undoes everything. And I hate that. You can't have that. There needs to be consequences, especially what was happening now. The stakes are so high right now. You can't just wipe the slate clean. Especially with Mike, totally, he's like, what happens when you win a campaign? They have to go travel somewhere else and be somewhere else. Like, that's such insane foreshadowing. There's been so many, like the whole cleric thing with Holly. I think she's going to be like America Chavez through the memory dimension or whatever. And I think they will time travel, like how Max time traveled. But I think they made a really good point to Max being like, I wasn't actually traveling time. I was going through memories. It's not really time travel. You're just going through different time and memories. And I think this is like episode 6 is called Escape from Camazotz, directed by Sean Levy. And I feel like that's probably going to be the best episode of the series. I know I'm putting like a lot of stock into it and high expectations, but Sean Levy and Stranger Things is a magical, union, and them dealing with memory stuff. That's like all the stuff feels Eternal Sunshine-y without being Eternal Sunshine-y. I'm just like, I cannot be, and it's probably going to be a very Max and Holly focused episode. Like, let's go. Like I'm so stoked for that, but they can't introduce time travel now. It's way too late. It would be so weird. I just think the other time travel stuff is just stuff that also has to deal with time that doesn't always mean time travel. Like 12, there's 12 apostles. 12, there's also clocks are a big thing with Henry Creel. There's, 12 hands of a clock, like so many things. So it's,
and in the Broadway show, Henry Creel gets trapped in Dimension X, and for the first time for 12 hours. Will gets freed from the Upside Down November 12th, but he gets taken on November 6th. There's there's a lot of 12 references. But those are the
They
other
love doing shit like that in the show, where it's like every single Joyce and Hopper reference is the number 37. They bring up the number 37 all the time in that relationship. And when Jonathan opens up his ring, that's why there's a lot of speculation that Jonathan is not going to be proposing to Nancy, and that's not what's going on. He is holding the ring for Hopper because Hopper is going to be proposing to his mom, and Hopper is going to be proposing to Joyce.
I didn't even think about that.
I didn't realize that was an option.
It's that when he opens up the ring and we look at the ring in that episode, it's the 37th minute of the episode. And so they're that number always just connects back to them. But I do think that's a very interesting theory with that as well. Because if Jonathan proposes to Nancy, that's bullshit, man. You're going directly off your monologue from a couple seasons ago. I don't want to be like my mom and dad. I don't want that type of relationship. And so you're going to try and trap Nancy in a marriage because your relationship is going poorly, Jonathan? No, you better just be holding it for Hop. Lauren, when did you clock the Mr. Whatsit thing was Vecna? And when did you clock that Holly's visitor in her little location, wherever she is, in Vecna's mind or wherever, was Max?
Yeah, well, not to be that person, but I knew that it was Vecna immediately. As soon as she said that she, nobody else could see him, I was like, that's clearly, Vecna. I didn't know if he would be in his Henry Creel look, so it's cool to see, Jamie Campbell Bower as a normal person again. But I kind of, figured that part out immediately. I did not call the Max thing, I will say. I thought that she was trapped somewhere in the mind space, but I just hadn't put together that that they were in a memory and that it was all in Vecna's mind. So that was a really good twist at the end of that episode. And I do think that the A Wrinkle in Time Camazotz thing, I think we can probably look to that to sort of foreshadow where this is going to go. And I think my theory is that it's in A Wrinkle in Time, I can't remember the characters' names, but I think she basically saves her brother from the mind prison by telling him that she loves him and things like that. So I think it's going to be Lucas's love for Max, or Nancy and Karen and everyone's love for Holly, that we'll kind of have to the power of love is a thing that keeps coming back in this show. It's what helps 11 fight Vecna in season 4. So I think it is going to be something like that. And I agree. I don't think time travel is the big twist here. I think it is time traveling through the memories, because even in season 3, I think it was 11 goes back into Billy's memories and sees that time with his mom.
4 too, we go into Max, the snowball.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's something to do with the memories and the love that's tied to the memories that's going to all connect here.
For sure.
I
also did not call the Max
opposite
thing. I was shocked with Max. When Max popped up, I was like, yes, so. That was such a great ending to an episode. Great.
I got Max spoiled for me because of the Lego house. So they're making a Lego of the Creel house, but the promotional images they were releasing for it included the minifigure of Max in her in the frizzy hair outfit that she wears, and I was like, oh, so Max is alive. So the second that I saw the note from Henry or whatever, I was and it kind of looked like a girl's handwriting. I was like, okay, there's Max.
I'm the polar opposite of you guys. I was trying, I don't know if it's denial or what, but I was trying to deny that Vecna is Mr. Whatsit as long as I could. That was peeking around in my head, but I was like, maybe Mr. Whatsit's Max, maybe Mr. Whatsit's Eddie. Come on, maybe it's Will. And then eventually, as soon as I saw somebody put something in the mailbox, immediately it was just like, Max is back. She's here. That's her. And so the obvious one, I was trying to deny it. And then the not obvious one, I was locked into, absolutely locked into. Caroline, I will throw you the first one, but if you have anything else to add to these the Max and the Mr. Whatsit reveals, feel free. I do want to give a little bit of a chat to Lucas and Dustin's character arcs this season. I love Enforcer Lucas. I love
Awesome.
like it's just the scene right at the front where the bullies are making fun of them, and then he just walks out and he's like, guess what, motherfuckers, I'm bigger than you now. And it's just awesome. All those bullies seem a lot less scary when all of our kids just tower over them. All of these dudes are so tall. Will, Mike, they're all huge, except for little Dustin, who admittedly, when Dustin's getting the shit beat out of him, he puts up a good fight.
He does.
A really good fight.
Yeah.
Lucas the Protector, I'm digging it. He is first on the scene for everything. He better not fucking die.
No.
Because he's putting himself in a lot of Steve Harrington situations here.
I've
but
seen
Lucas the Protector and Dustin, poor Dustin, still unable to move on from the death of Eddie. Sean, you sent me this beautiful edit, or like the beautiful reminder of Eddie saying to Dustin Henderson, never change.
That's my favorite quote in the whole series. And it's been reinforced this season. Oh my God.
And all he's done is change. He is sad. He is upset. He is moody. He is angry. He's always been sassy. But this isn't the Dustin that everybody has fallen in love with. And my favorite constant through the whole series, my favorite relationship through the whole series, it's Dustin and Steve. It's Dustin and Steve.
Like,
and we don't have that. Steve is wanting to still be the older brother figure to Dustin, and Dustin keeps pushing him away. Steve's now fed up because he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know how to help his friend. And Dustin just keeps going further and further into this darker hole all by himself. Caroline, any notes on Dustin and Lucas's arcs?
Okay, first of all, Lucas, oh my God. So I think I've said this before. Lucas and Max are like my favorite couple on the whole show. I think like they took over Mike and 11 for me a long time ago. And this really solidified it. Everybody moved on. He's still there. He's still going to the hospital. He's still there for Max. It seems like he's really the only one that cares. I think that's so sweet. There's a clip in the trailer where I think in the hospital they get attacked by the Demodogs or the Demogorgons, and he's holding on to her. He is making sure that like she's okay at any point. I think in this like first bit of the season, I think he's taken a little bit of a backseat, but I think that is because we're going to try to get, like, we're going to get Escape from Camazotz. We're going to get that. He's going to play a bigger role, I think, in a little bit. But I think from what I've seen right now, yeah, he's doing great. I also, a note on Max, everyone was kind of dogging on Max for, like, stopping and waiting at the little portal for, like, 30 seconds. Like, girl, you had time. You had time before that cassette ended, but back to
run, Max, run.
Let's go. You've done this before, okay? Let's go. Lock in, girl. She was light jogging. She was light jogging through the Upside Down. It was really fun.
One other Max note that I think is absolutely hilarious is this girl, poor girl. She's been in a coma for 3 fucking years or however long it's been. She's stuck in this mind prison, and she's still got time to give it to Mike Wheeler. She's still gonna make fun of Mike Wheeler as much as she possibly can. Like, she fucking hates that dude.
I love their little sibling rivalry. I think it's so funny. I love their dynamic. See, that's another one that when I think Mike or Max comes back from Camazotz, I want to see more of them bicker before the series ends because they're so hilarious.
Holly goes, "How do I know you're real?" And Max goes, "Your brother's a fucking loser." Okay, she's real.
Oh yeah, this is the real one. Okay, but Dustin, I was so sad, but I also understood it. I think Eddie really impacted Dustin and saying never change, Henderson, never waver from who you are, you are an outcast, own it. I think that was something that Dustin really needed to hear, especially with regards to what Lucas was what was happening to Lucas in season 4. But I also think it's just, I'm so sad. And I think it's hard to see because I sort of don't I understand why Dustin's doing what he's doing and why he's kind of taking this stance, but it also just is so infuriating. It has been really infuriating to watch because it's we're not trying to lay low and blend in, because like we're nerds. We're trying to lay low and blend in because we're directly like the military is in our town and they've quarantined our town and they're on our asses right now. Like there is a very, I think, valid reason to why like laying low, blending in, not wearing any of the hellfire stuff, like trying to be normal is like a survival tactic. But I think Dustin sees that as something totally different. I think he thinks like, but we're we're nerds and we're outcasts and we're different, and like the person that showed me that all of that was okay just died, and I'm not, and everyone hates him. Everyone thinks that he's the villain for it. He's like it's giving like, not in the same way at all, because like obviously in Wicked there's racism, but it's almost giving Alphaba, like no one mourns the wicked. But he was not wicked at all, and I think I think Dustin really took that to heart. But also, I think some of the writing with the bullies was giving very Disney Channel. I'm so sorry. I've been seeing a lot of these memes of like people adding laugh tracks and like, ooh, like on to the scene where like the bullies all come up, and then all of the kids, all the characters come up and are like, you better don't touch my friend, or else I'll make sure that your phone's like pop like a balloon. And then it's like, wee-hoo! It's so funny.
It's the very stereotypical type of bullying where it's like,
oh yeah, it's
I don't want to
very
minimize
painful
anyone's
high
experiences
school
that
movie scene.
Yeah, like I don't want to minimize anyone's experiences that these things have happened to, but I personally, as a student and as a teacher, have seen some terrible types of bullying, and some kids do some really mean things to some other kids. Never seen anyone shoved in a locker. I've never seen anybody
that doesn't really
given a
happen.
swirly. These very public fights with people watching in a hallway, that doesn't really ever happen. Like
I've seen like fights happen, but they're between like people that are they are fighting. They're two people on equal ground. It's not like jock trying to beat up nerd. It's like they're getting into some physical altercation because there's like a story happening. It's not necessarily because like they're being bullied.
Same here, but also anytime there was a fight at our school, it was like scheduled to happen at a non-school location later. Like it'd be like Dairy Queen parking lot, this park, and then everybody would show up to watch. Sometimes a fight would happen, sometimes it wouldn't. Sean, what are your thoughts on our poor Dustin's arc this season?
It breaks my heart, but like I get it and I understand it. I don't find it frustrating because I feel like it makes sense. Grief is a messed up thing, and it's a lot to go through, and it will make you change how you are. It'll make you bitter. It'll make you angry, especially in a situation like that. And I think he's so adamant at being what he thinks is true to himself by like repping the Hellfire Club, blah, 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 is that Eddie was someone who was kind of, like a haven for these kids who felt like weirdos in like this school full of jocks and whatever. And he wants to be that for the next generation, like regardless of whatever. And like he's showing like, hey, it's okay to be different. And I love that. And the Duffers have even come forward. Like we wrote the character of Eddie because we wish we had someone like that in high school. And so like I wish I had someone like that in high school. I was like the only kid who dressed like I did. I was the only kid who played in bands. I was the only kid who had my like ears gauged and had swoopy hair and wore tight pants. Like I was the only kid. I was just lucky because I have a very loud mouth, and if people jocks tried to come for me, but I just had a bigger mouth than them, and I was smarter than them. So I would say something back to them, and they'd be like, they'd be so confused that like, you weren't like cowering in fear, that they're like, never mind, I don't even want to deal with this. So stuff like that does happen, and I'm glad they weren't getting like shoved into lockers. They're just like shoved against the locker, and the
Where
snake
are these
thing is
teachers?
pretty dope. Too.
There's no teachers in media. They never do anything.
Mr. Clark, my goat. Mr. Clark, my goat, though. My goat forever.
Yeah. It was nice. It was nice to see him back. It was nice to see him back, even if it was brief. And the same thing with Luke. Like pretty much
right now.
Everything what everyone said with Luke is perfect. It's really great to see him, be like the protector, and it's only continuing his arc from season 4. It's like it starts off and you're like, what are you doing, man? But you kind of understand it. You're like, oh, he's really trying to do it for his friends, even though it is kind of selfish. But once things really hit the fan, he's like, nah, I'm out of here.
And there was some, like you said, there were some things he went about the wrong way, but he was saying he wasn't trying to leave them. He wasn't trying to
No.
get cool so he could leave his friends. He was trying to become popular so he could bring his friends with him so they'd stop getting picked on.
Yeah, which is like admirable and nice. Like obviously there were some selfish things in there too, because he was getting this kind of like new brotherhood that he never experienced before. But then he realized it was all just like macho machiste nonsense and not real, you know. And he's like, I got to go back to my real friends, which is like fine. And like that made a great character arc for him, and it's only continuing now. And it's hard because people saying like they forgot Max, but like Will was there with Lucas in one of the scenes. 11 constantly references Max. It's like. It's not like she could visit Max. She was being hunted by the military. She couldn't really just show up at the hospital and be like, here, I'm here to visit my friend. I know my face is plastered everywhere, but is it okay if I go visit her? You know? So it's hard. I get it. But like Lucas is the heartbeat. And you got to remember, don't knock Max for standing there in disbelief. She just went through how many memories? She's probably thinking her mind is like, she doesn't even know what's going on.
I don't care. Run, like, Max, run!
No, lock in.
Run up that hill.
Before she was there before, and she locked in.
Run up that hill,
yeah,
like Lauren said.
That was before the coma and the glimpse of death, and then walking through all these memories she doesn't even understand. Like
it was just giving a horror movie. The danger is there, and our protagonist is going and slowly moving out of the way instead of turning and sprinting.
I think even if she sprinted, she wouldn't have made it.
Speaking of L power scaling, I know we were talking about that earlier. Can we talk about like I still can't believe like L brought Max back to life, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
That's oh my god, wow, she's really powerful.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like that's some Franklin Richards stuff.
Yeah,
right there. And so I am very excited to see how L's powers manifest throughout the season, and I'm very excited to see how Will's power manifests throughout the season. Another great Mike moment is his Will the Sorcerer chat with him. And after all the Will and Robin conversations, he finally learns to accept himself, accept his sexuality, stop hiding, seeing Robin has allowed him to really say, like, I can be happy being myself. I can truly be who I am, and I don't have to just push down this part of me. I am very excited to see how the Will and Mike stuff will end up. Like, Will tell Mike how he feels about him, or is that going to be a first crush that allows him to be himself going forward kind of thing? I don't know, but I'm very interested to see that conversation, because I don't think a couple seasons ago Mike would have been ready to handle that conversation, and I think he probably would have been a dick about it, like, and not outwardly being a dick, but probably would have just like shied away quite heavily and go into his own shell instead of actually have the conversations with Will. I think he's ready for that now. But I think this was really cool. It was such a cool reveal. The way they did it, straight from Will has never been trained to use these powers and amplify them with the power of anger and the power of hatred. That has never been seared into him like it has been 11. And so it's a very different change for 11 to try these things from scratch, newly thinking of happy and positive memories and memories of love. Will does it for the first time, channeling love for himself, which I think is just so powerful and so incredible. And that probably was when I was doing my deep dive into the stage play, that was probably the thing that, like, canon wise, that clicked the most for me of how can Will be this sorcerer? Is it because of this? Is it because of this? Is it because of this? Well, the thing that changed, like, when you go to Dimension X, when you reach Dimension X for the first time and you return, your blood type changes. You have a new blood type that people have never seen before and nobody else has. And that blood type is what leads you to have this potential. That blood is what was extracted from 1 and placed into all of the other kids like 11, because he had visited Dimension X, and when he returned, his blood was entirely different. And so, considering Will has been there, that makes sense to me that he wouldn't need a transfusion. And in theory, he's probably has the potential to become more powerful than even 11. because 11's was from a blood transfusion and his was from being there. What do you think? What do you think, Sean? Or Lauren? You look like you got something. I'll go to you first.
Well, I was just going to say, like, the Duffer Brothers have like come out and explained how Will's powers work, and it is very much because he was part of the hive mind. So I'm not sure that he's like the same kind of psychic like superhero that 11 and Vecna are, just because he was in Dimension X. I think it's because like he was plugged into Vecna and he's actually using Vecna's powers. They're not coming from him. He's just managed to unlock this, like, I guess, mental block in his mind that has allowed him to like reverse the hive mind and use it to his advantage. So I think that's like the main differentiator between him and the other two.
That's where the stage show of it all really throws my mind in a loop, because I feel like they're directly contradicting what they do in each of these shows. Because Vecna, they show in the stage show Vecna getting his powers from the Mind Flayer. The Mind Flayer controlling
That's all still
him.
confusing, right?
And is what adds this up. So that kind of has me thinking, like, well, could then Will be on the same tier as Vecna power-wise if...
Well, technically, yes, because he has all of Vecna's powers.
From Mind Flayer, right? Like that thing, like technically that's the hive mind. I feel like that's... What is the original hive mind? You know, is it Vecna or is it the Mind Flayer?
We don't know yet.
We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
I believe it's the Mind Flayer, actually. It is...
Well, a lot of people have said, like, we're not going to know until part 2, I don't think, or volume 2, like the actual answer. A lot of people are making up assumptions.
The chicken of the egg of it all. Mind Flayer was there pre-Henry. We know that Mind Flayer predates 1, but we don't know now at this point who is more in charge.
Yeah, like did Henry form the Mind Flayer, or did the Mind Flayer form Vecna? We're not really sure yet.
This actually brings me to the theory that my friend has. So my friend saw the Broadway show, so she's like been there. She's really seen it. She is under the impression that Mr. Whatsit, or Henry Creel, the version that we see that's talking to Holly, the one in the hat, is the original Henry Creel, and that this version of him is inherently benevolent or good, because obviously in the show, at least from what I know, and TJ, you can comment on this better, but she was saying that Henry is originally just like a normal boy, just kind of like Will is. And then he gets taken into Dimension X for 12 hours and comes back psychologically a completely different person, and both physiologically and psychologically. And he completely changes as a result of this, experience. And part of the theory is that he was like, you know, he's overtaken, possessed by the Mind Flayer essentially, and that Henry Creel, and that soul and that person is trapped in that mindscape the same way that like Holly and Max are. That's kind of like that's my friend's theory, not mine, but she saw the Broadway show and she feels really confident in it, especially because in the show, Henry Creel carries around a radio. He's constantly listening to music because it helps fend off. Actually, the 5 minutes I saw of this, of the Broadway show, had Henry like walking into the new house. He has a radio playing and his mom and dad tell him to turn it off. That happens, right?
Yeah, and there are pieces of it too where it's almost like a Transformers Bumblebee situation where the radio starts spontaneously playing his like songs that match his emotions.
Yes. So I think, so her theory is that Henry Creel wants to give Holly a song to help her because he knows that that's what works, because he's seen it in action. It's helped him. However, Vecna gives Holly a song that the rest of the world is not aware that she knows. So Vecna is making Holly develop a connection to a song that, like Mike or Nancy, when they say, oh, what song does she like? They're not going to know that song. But that's what she said. Like, that's what she was like saying, that she did not know. I think we're alone now, but I think that's not right. I think she does know the song and like listens to it. So I don't know.
Yeah, he got that for her because that already was her favorite song.
Oh, okay. Then she had it wrong.
It was like all of her favorite things.
Come on.
He could potentially think he's benevolent, but I don't think they're two different beings that are doing like with different motivations, because we saw Mr. Whatsit lead those kids right to Demogorgons.
True. Okay.
But alas,
That was just
we
your
can't wait
favorite.
to find out what the hell is going on. Because, like we said, we know from the stage show the Mind Flayer and Dimension X is what initially infected Vecna and put him on this path. But we really still don't know who is the head honcho in the Upside Down. At the end of the day, who has more power, Henry or the Mind Flayer? And that's something I'm very interested in finding out. Sean, I feel like I haven't gone to you for this topic yet. I don't even remember what the topic we're on. Will, powers, what do you think, man?
Oh man, that was so cool. And the way they edited it together with Robin's speech about her finding herself and then the flashback scenes, I was like, oh my God. I saw someone complaining about flashback scenes and how they can be heavy-handed. And I know these were kind of mostly new flashback scenes and stuff, but I love when shows utilize flashbacks to contextualize story of what's going on. I feel like it gives you a wave of nostalgia because we've already seen these things, but I think it's just a good reminder too. I love when shows do that. And obviously Stranger Things has been doing that since inception and everything like that. Like even back to like Hopper's stuff with his daughter, even though some of those were new flashbacks when we saw it, it's like it's been a very constant thing with his character, and I love that they do that. But yeah, like what you said, such a beautiful moment. Like it is so powerful when he ends up getting those powers. And it was funny because when the Demogorgon was in front of Joyce, I think in episode 3 at the barn, I was like, I wonder if he can control them. And then Mike says something after, and I'm like, oh, they're definitely going to do something. And so then when it came to the moment and it happened, but chef's kiss for him giving the biggest middle finger to Vecna by killing them, just like how Vecna kills. I was like, yo, as soon as they started floating up, I was like, no way is he doing it. And their arms broke. I was like, oh, that was so sick. That was so cool. What is really interesting, definitely what Lauren said. I know the Duffer Brothers explained, and it's only effective in his proximity to the hive mind, just like how he gets his, I love how I think Steve called him his goosies. Hilarious.
Yeah. It's big Peter Tingles vibes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Super Peter Tingle vibes. So I'm curious to see how Vecna will react to this, because he leaves him and he's very much like, I have your number, motherfucker. So now that he can see that, like, oh, he can reverse and tap in, I'm wondering how Vecna reacts to that, and I'm wondering like what the consequences are for that. A lot of people, think it's like straight on Harry Potter Horcrux type thing. I don't think that's the similar thing, because I think the big difference is when the Demogorgons get attacked and Will feels it. I don't think we've ever seen that like Vecna gets affected when like Demogorgons are getting stuff, even though he's like,
he does.
Again, it's
he
like
does.
the whole.
We saw that at the end of season 4 for a little bit. That's why they did their plan the way that they did. That's why Eddie and Dustin were fighting those things. Not just as a distraction, but to light the thing on fire. Remember, Hopper is like, I might die doing this while he's in Russia, but I know that it's a hive mind, and so I might be able to help her fight as I'm hurting this Demogorgon. So he does feel it too. That.
Okay. I guess
he's probably just better.
Does he have to be connected to the hive though? I'm not too sure, because he has that. I don't know, like that big root system. Yeah, exactly.
The dock. I did see Jamie Campbell Bower say something about how it was super hard on set because he's obviously like wire harnessed in, and apparently when they first did it, he just kept swinging, and they couldn't figure it out why, so they had to like anchor him from the bottom too, and he's like. It's like so much extra had to go in this shot that should have been so simple, and I don't know. I just found that really funny to think about him and like all this prosthetic makeup and like all this stuff, and he's just like
SpongeBob in the after he does the song and he's like just swinging there.
Yeah.
I also found it very interesting with the Will stuff in regards to comparing his powers. Is he more like 11? Is he more like Vecna? Is he his own thing? When we see 11 doing her telekinesis stuff. Hand forward, palm down at all times. Whereas Vecna, hand forward, palm up.
Oh, and he was doing that too.
Will was hand forward, palm upping it as well, which could mean literally nothing. That might just be how the actors did their things, and they were like, "Cool, looks good," but could be something.
Could be something. So I'm excited to see where it goes and how that plays a factor. It was wild. The Vecna entrance scene, which the Duffer said was inspired by the Rogue One hallway scene with Darth Vader, the oneer they pull.
Oh wow, my God, the one.
That was so sick. and then that was before Vecna even came in. But when Vecna came in, it was just like wrecking shit. That ruled. So
And
hard.
Vecna's redesign, like he's got these like spikes now. It's kind of cool.
He looks so much
So
cooler
sick.
now. He looks so much cooler now.
Way more intimidating. I mean, he was intimidating before, mostly because of his powers and like the way he like can take over people's minds. It's like utterly terrifying. But like he looks so badass and awesome now. And I did see some people being like,
"Oh, that big Vecna."
Oh my god, they were like, "How did the Wheelers not die? Like the two Wheeler parents, but then." Like a bunch of armed military people get mowed through. And I was like, they went to the hospital. These Demogorgons aren't like super intelligent creatures. They're just being controlled by like some dude sending them. And the main goal of the Demogorgons in that point was to get the kids. So it's only if you're in the way of what they want that they're going to take you out. And if they knock you down, they're like, yeah, good enough. Like if you're not hindering their path, it doesn't matter. It's like so many people are so obsessed with deaths happening and deaths needing to be this impactful thing.
Ted should be dead.
There's more impactful things than death.
He should have died.
I do think there's going to be deaths happening, but I don't think the fact that Karen Wheeler didn't die makes it less impactful. Like I think what happened was insane. Like I was shocked she was still alive. Like I'm not going, oh, I wish she died. Like, I
was very pleasantly relieved that Karen was still alive. Like she had such an epic scene. I did not want the kids to be without their mom. Like I wanted her to be okay. Genuinely, I was watching it thinking they should have killed Ted. Not they should have killed Ted from like his injuries were so bad. There's no way he could have survived, but they should have killed Ted like ease us in. Ted's a good death to start with. This is the thing. That is a good stake-setting death.
Yeah, but like there is this recurring thing where like Stranger Things kind of seems afraid to kill anybody off. Like all the characters that die in each season are the ones who have been introduced in that season. Like Joyce's boyfriend in season 2, I can't remember his name. Like Billy, Eddie, like they're always just the new ones who get like. So I genuinely fear for Derek now because it's like he's new in this season. Like they don't really like to kill people that you're attached to.
He's gonna tell the Demogorgons to suck his fat one. I don't know why I think that's so hilarious. I don't know why this little kid yelling suck my fat one. I think it's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
It's so funny. I think it's Robin's reaction too that makes it even funnier, for sure. Like what we talked about.
She's like, how do you even know what this is? Like, how do you even know what that means?
Yeah, he doesn't. That's the best part. He doesn't, and he's just letting it out anyway. Shout out all the younger actors in this one. That has been a frequent of Stranger Things is like these kids are damn good. When they put a kid in this show, they are damn good. And with this new Holly actor, apologies, I don't know her name off the top of my head.
Her name is Nell.
Nell, she has been incredible. She has just been really, really great as Holly Wheeler in this one. The guy who plays Derek, he's been awesome. And Eric is not really a kid anymore. I'm pretty sure that actress is a full-on adult now. But she's great too. She's really, really great too. I think all that we have left to get to, except like, of course, if anyone has any other theories they want to talk about, let them free. But the Deadpool. It is time for the Deadpool. We will got to figure out who we think. Speaking of character deaths, Caroline and Sean, we've kind of talked about our thoughts on the preview show. I want to know for you guys, who has your opinions changed on who you think will die this season? Lauren, I want to throw it to you first, though, since we don't know who you think is going to make it through. Are there any? Give us like a character you think is for sure dying, a character you think might die, and then a dark horse. So it's like they're probably not going to die, but they could. Okay.
I think for sure dying, and we haven't actually talked about her at all today, but is Linda Hamilton's character, Dr. K, who's great and evil and another good.
She just looks like Brenner, but a woman.
Kinda. Maybe she's like secretly Brenner's wife or something. I don't know.
I could see it. I like that theory.
There's definitely something with her character that's going to be revealed. How she's connected to all this, for sure.
Yeah, like she's too involved for a reason. I think she's dead.
Or she's Patty Newby's real mom. No, that doesn't work. What about your maybe and your dark horse?
Okay, maybe I think is probably going to be Will. I have heard a theory that everyone thinks that 11's going to be the one who has to like sacrifice herself to put the upside down right or something like that. I think it might be Will. There's something about him being taken first. I don't know if it's because, and this leads into my dark horse, because my dark horse is Joyce, because I feel like there's some kind of, which we know from the stage show, like backstory between Joyce and Henry Creel / Vecna, and it seems like that might have played into why Vecna took Will first. And I don't know, there's something about like now he's used Vecna powers, like you said, Sean, surely that's going to have consequences. What if Vecna uses it in reverse? So I just don't feel good about Will in this season, but then potentially maybe Joyce will sacrifice herself in some way to save Will. So I kind of put her on the edge as well as being a potential this season.
I think my for sure is one of, but not both, Will or 11 will be trapped or die. And I think one, like I'm with you, Lauren. I don't know which one it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be 11 or it's going to be Will, but I think one of them is going to be stuck, either potentially having to either like sacrifice themselves to close the upside down, or as a full on, like there's been so many Star Wars references throughout this show. I think it would be really cool if they did a full on Anakin Skywalker moment of they become the ruler of the upside down. They become the new Vecna. The threat has been saved and they sacrifice themselves. It looks like the day is saved. But 30 years from now, when there's new kids living in Hawkins, they are the next big bad. Like that, because they've been corrupted by the underground, like Henry. That the upside down, like Henry. That to me, I think would be a cool route. But I think it's one of Will or 11 is not making it through. Sean, what do you think? Oh yeah, no, Lauren, you gave your dark horse. We're good there.
I'm with you there. I don't think either of them are going to die. But I think one or the other, either one is going to be the secret to like saving the real world from the upside down, and like very akin to Loki holding the multiverse together. They're going to have to make the sacrifice play, not to die, but to be stuck in seclusion forever, which is again kind of worse than death. That's pretty awful. My big picks other than that, especially from what's happened in these first few episodes, I think are Joyce and Dustin. I am very worried for them right now. And I think if either of them die, they'll be super impactful. And like, I don't think people are thinking those two are going to die. I definitely didn't think Dustin was going to die before season 5, but what's going on? I'm like, I don't know. I'm feeling really bad about what's going on with that. Maybe is I don't know. Jonathan is in there. Steve is in there a little still of maybes, but I don't know. I think the whole love triangle thing is going to end up with Nancy just being a strong, independent woman, which I think is probably the best.
As she should.
The best solution to all that. I do like when TJ sent me the theory about it being Hopper's ring. I was like, I like that so much better. I was like, if Jonathan proposes now, I was like, Nancy's gonna be like, get the fuck out of here. Get out of my face. No, bye. Dark Horse. I mean, Dr. K is a pretty good one. Probably, definitely gonna die for sure. I do have I think Paul Reiser needs to return because I don't think he died, and I think he needs to come back. The Duffers have been super, like, saying that like we're tying all the loose ends, and him coming back needs to be a loose end of some sort. So we'll see. I don't really know if I have a dark horse. Like I don't know. Those are my picks, though. I guess Lucas. I don't know.
I did not.
I would suck if Lucas happened. It would suck. So
I did not think before this season that Dustin would die, and there have just been so many little Dustin death harbingers throughout this season. Him saying he wants to be there when it all ends, so he can be the one who ends Vecna's life. There have just been so many comments like that of just relating Dustin to death that terrify me. We need
Joyce
Susie back. Susie needs a cameo in season 5 of like,
please.
Dustin can't get out of his own head. He's being a dick. We got to bring Susie to. Susie sneaks into Hawkins and save
Murray brings her in.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that would be awesome. That would be great.
Murray's probably also going to die.
Sorry,
Murray. He's probably also.
Oh yeah, Murray's gonna die. Murray's gonna die too. I do think probably one of Jonathan or Steve dies. Not both, but I think one of them dies. And this is why I think Steve and Nancy should end up together. Because yes, Nancy is going to be an independent woman who don't need no man at the end of this. But guess what? That's going to make Steve the perfect husband. Because what does Steve want to do? He wants to support Nancy so she can go out and have her career. And he wants to stay at home with the kiddos. Steve can barely graduate high school. Steve's an idiot. He's not going into the workforce. What Steve's superpower is his ability to care and his ability to protect. And so while Nancy can go have her career and be driven and like very career focused, Steve stays at home with the kiddos. He has his 6 kids. He has his van. Maybe they have a surrogate mother so that Nancy doesn't have to go on maternity leave because 6 kids.
That's really progressive for the 80s.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no kidding. That's a lot on a person. But I'm hoping for Steve and Nancy end up together. I think Jonathan's gonna die. Caroline, who do you got in your Deadpool?
My Deadpool right now, my definites are either Will or L. I think everyone is on the right track on that. But the other one is a person that we have not talked about. Callie, number 8. She's back.
I forgot. We didn't even talk about the reveal. We didn't talk about
it was so irrelevant, and they brought her back, and we didn't even bring it up.
That's what got spoiled for me.
Oh.
But this is how it got spoiled. He texts me and goes, "Oh, they brought back the worst episode of Stranger Things." And I go, "Are you fucking serious?" And he's like, "What? What's the worst episode?" I was like, "Everyone knows what the worst episode is." And he's like, "Oh, I didn't think it was a common thing." I'm like, everyone has that same thought. Literally everyone. I was like, I hate you. So as soon as they're like someone behind the door, I was like, oh, I guess who's behind that door?
Yeah.
Still great that they connected it though. That's a great connection.
Yeah. They had to bring that back somehow.
I'm glad that they did. I think there's also a great theory where if Will was the first taken, he's 1, and then you have 11 plus 8. 11 plus 8 is 19. 19 plus 1 is 20. Or like, I forget what the reference was to that, but it was like, I forget what they
need to roll to beat Vecna.
That's what you roll. Yeah, that's
right.
What you roll to beat Vecna, and like they're gonna all collectively like work together to beat Vecna. But I think any of our supernatural friends, Will, Elle, or Callie, I think are definitely high up on the list. I was having a hard time coming up with a maybe. I think still Steve is pretty high up there. I think him having a grand sacrifice, but also Dustin and Lucas is a big one for me now. There was a theory going around, or like just an idea, a concept, if you will, the concept of Max waking up from her coma as Lucas dies, trying to save her. And there's almost this like Romeo and Juliet moment where he's dead and she is woken up like, oh my God, I would literally lose my mind if that happened.
That's brutal. That's so
brutal.
I need this series.
I think if that happened, I would be like at Christmas dinner, like.
I need this series.
Mom, it's delicious. Thank you.
Lucas together, and I need Dustin and Steve to be besties. That's all I need. Everybody else can die as long as those two
go on their movie date. If I don't see Lucas and Max go on their movie date, oh my God, I'm gonna lose it. So, but also, I think also on my Death Watch, I have to say my dark horse pick is Max, and it's so sad because she's like, I think it's funny. I tweeted about this a few days ago about how I feel like the progression of Stranger Things as someone who's watched it in real time and has grown up with the show has been really funny. And I sort of feel like with like regards to her poster, like they posted all the character posters, Max got the most likes out of all of them, and she like beat out all the other characters.
It was more than the rest of them combined.
And so I was like, she has really become the fan favorite character of the show with that and running up that hill being the one that went number 1. I think people love Sadie Sink. I think she has really proved really, she came in the show season 2 and has like really become like skyrocketed. And maybe that will protect Max because people love this character so much and she's so iconic. But I also think that she was right there beforehand, and I don't think she's necessarily safe. I think that there's we could be living in a universe where the escape from Camazotz goes wrong and something happens to Max, or maybe she tries sacrificing herself to save Holly and they like form a bond. But I'm also excited because I saw like there were kind of pictures from the set that implied that like all of the kids go to the mine. Like, oh, where'd Sean go?
Probably to go to the bathroom or something. He's fine. Continue.
Okay. Where they all go, or like all the kids get taken are in the same mindscape as Holly, and then Max has to like Steve her way out of this by babysitting all of the children. And she's like the worst. And she was already pissed off with Holly. She was like, oh my God. And now she's gonna get
like, why did this have to be a fucking Wheeler? Of all of the people that go to me, why did it have to be a Wheeler?
All of these children, she's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, she's gonna be so mad. I can't wait to see how they play it. But I really, really hope that Max or Lucas don't die. But I think like that's a dark horse pick, which is really sad. It's so sad.
Let us know who do you think is going to survive, who do you think is going to die at Agents Fandom on TikTok and Twitter, Agents of Fandom everywhere else. We will be breaking down volumes 2 and 3 of Stranger Things over the next month, in addition to Percy Jackson and the Olympians, follow-up season 2. What else do we got? Avatar, Fire and Ash, Wake Up Dead Man dropping tomorrow on Wednesday this week. We'll have our review for that one. Lots of great stuff coming, so make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our future shows. I feel like I did have one more theory that I wanted to bring up, but I don't remember where it is. If it comes back into my head, I'll bring it up. But before that, Lauren, where can the people find your work, your podcast, and where can they find you on socials?
You can find me at LRouse19. That's Rouse spelled as in house, on Twitter, Blue Sky, TikTok. And you can also find my podcast that I co-host with Tom, Drew, and Klein Felt at Controller Club on all the socials. Basically, we're everywhere.
I DM'd Tom to see if he wanted to come on the podcast, and I actually don't think it's that he didn't answer. It was saying that he has not accepted the Twitter update where your messages have to be encrypted or something. And so I might have to get you or Klein to reach out to Tom for me so that we can actually make something happen here on the show. Sean, how about you? Where can people find you on socials? What's coming up on the Metalcore Nerds pod?
Man, that Twitter message update is so annoying.
God, it's horrible. It's so bad.
I go and click on it and it's just like so many notifications. I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. I think I've forgotten Twitter is almost a social platform at this point. But Metalcore Nerds, you can find it anywhere you find podcasts, at Metalcore Nerds, everywhere else. You can go to metalcorenerds.com. Everything's there in one easy place. Got some really cool guests coming up this month. At the end of the month, we'll be doing some most anticipated lists. And then at the beginning of January, we'll be having a top 10 of the year for TVs and movies separately. That TJ will be on one of them. His first appearance on my pod. Saved him for a good one.
I have a podcast and I asked Sean to co-host with me. Sean has a podcast and he invites me once in 2 years of friendship. I don't actually think we've even known each other for 2 years yet. I'm exaggerating heavily.
No. Hey, man. I'm busy trying to get, the big gets,
I know.
Big musical gets.
Totally just yanking your chain.
I know.
Caroline, where can but you also do have work coming up for Agents Fandom as well. So what can people be on the lookout for?
Okay.
Oh, sorry, Caroline. I accidentally sent it to you early because I wanted Sean to bring up something else. But then Sean, finish that because he's got reviews coming, and then Caroline, I'll ask you all the same questions.
Yes, I should have a review for Fallout Season 2 coming before that drops in a few weeks. And then a couple early next year, too. Apple TV shows. You can maybe guess what they are. We'll see.
Can't wait for Shrinking. I'm so excited for Shrinking to come out. That is one of my favorite series on television. Caroline, where can the people find you on socials? Where can they find your work, etc.? Let the people know where to find you.
My TikTok and Instagram are KaroG2802, and my Twitter is in the display name Wanda's Lola, Wanda Maximoff, Lola Tongue. That's pretty much all I got.
I was thinking, shouldn't it be Wanda's Belly because Wanda's a character and Lola's a real life person?
Well, yeah, Wanda's Belly was in the because I was gonna. So my Twitter used to be Eternals Wanda's, but then I was like, I am just not no one's doing anything with Eternals anymore, and all I talk about is the Summer Rights Are Pretty. I feel like I need to involve it somehow in the username. And I needed to keep Wanda there because I still talk about her, obviously. And I was running through with a few of my friends, and then my friend was like, "It should be Wanda's belly." And I'm like, "Well, then it just sounds like I'm talking about like
Her stomach.
Wanda's stomach, and I'm not talking about that." And it just sounded weird. And then I was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna do Lola because she plays her," and that's how the name was born out. That's how it was created.
I think you made the right choice, but Wanda's belly would have been hilarious.
It would have been hilarious. It's just I didn't feel like explaining that to everyone.
Makes sense. Well, we're glad you explained it to us here, and we'll be explaining lots more of Stranger Things, PJO, of all the great content coming over the next couple of months here on the Agents of Fandom podcast. Thank you to Sean, Caroline, and Lauren for joining me today. All three of you are incredible. Check out all their work. And we thank you all who tuned in today, both live and after the fact. Hit the like button if you're watching us on YouTube. Subscribe to the Agents of Fandom on YouTube, wherever you get your pods. We will see you next time, everyone. On behalf of myself, Sean, Caroline, and Lauren. Sorry, I didn't know if I was going to say Rouse or not, and then I just combined Lauren and Rouse into Laura. And Lauren. Anyways, we'll see you next time.